Ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. Now, as you're tuning in to the video, guys, hit that thumbs up button. On average, we get anywhere from 500 to 2,000 viewers, but only about 80 likes per video. Guys, hit that thumbs up, support the channel, and consider subscribing if you are a new viewer. Before we talk about the thumbnail, before we talk about how I was able to make over $5,000 on ticker symbol INBS, let's talk a little bit about the disclaimer. Guys, remember that day trading is a business. If you're not treating it as such, you should. Remember, more than 80% of small businesses do fail here in the United States, right, within the first 2 to 3 years. So understand that trading is risky. It's not easy. It never will be easy. It's hard and it will always be that way. So if you're not consistently doing well, if you're not consistently hitting your marks, it's best to use small size. It's best to practice utilizing the paper trading simulators out there. Make sure that your tuition is on the lower side of things. And lastly, remember the recaps. In fact, two more. Remember, the recaps and live streams are never an invitation to copy trade. Copy trading is one of the quickest ways to blow up an account. Now, lastly, remember, I do not invest for my subscribers. None of the guys in the day trading team house or Discord invest for subscribers. We only invest for ourselves. I only invest for myself. So be careful with fake accounts and impersonating accounts, pretending to be us. This is a problem that's over all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Discord, the YouTube comment section. Be careful with fake accounts. We will never try to sell you anything. We will never try to ask you for money. We'll never do any of that craziness. We're not going to try and say, send us money to invest. None of that nonsense. A lot of spam, a lot of weird stuff. We don't want your personal information. We don't want your money. Be careful out there. So, with that long disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about stock INBS. Stock INBS. This one here, Intelligent Biosolutions Inc. That's the name of the company. Was on the scans early this morning. It was on the scans, and I said, hey, you know what? I think I want this to be my main stock. So we talk about, finding the stocks, right? This one was up early this morning. It had a good percentage gain at the time. I think maybe around 50%. We had good volume. The shares outstanding, the float, shares available for the public was pretty light, pretty low. We had good relative volume. There was a decent gap. And so, these are all the things that we're looking for, right? Because ultimately we want there to be an imbalance, whether to the buy or sell side. That allows us to be able to see these crazy supernova moves, right? What happens when, the shares available is very low and there's a high amount of demand at 93 million shares traded and there's only less than 1 million shares available. That allows us to sometimes be able to see a squeeze, right? And that's what we had today. This thing went from, 250 to 699 and it was quite incredible. So I'm not going to show any level 2. And in fact, my actual P&L on the day here, gross 48.96 and 34 cents. We were red on MINM, which was yesterday's hot stock. I think that one was multi-day continuation. But anyhow, INBS. Let's take a look at the chart. So 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. Let's show the 5 minute chart some love. Let's show the daily chart some love. Let's try and get a good zoom down here. Get good context of what was happening. So into the open to start, we've been seeing the opening surge. We saw this yesterday. We saw Marcelo make like 4 grand, 5 grand on just the opening surge yesterday alone. Those of you who are newer to the video, to the channel, you'll say, hey, what is an opening surge? That's when we come into the open, right? So this gray area back here, all of this gray area is considered pre-market, right? Before market officially opens. At 9:30, you hear that bell, ding, 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 ding. The market is officially opened. And from 9:30 onwards, this is where I usually trade. So what is the opening surge? The opening surge is when we surge up over the previous high that we had in the pre-market sessions, right? So in this case, we had just recently made a new high at 44. So we can put a bit of a line right here at 44, right? So a little bit of context. We pushed up, small pullback. We pushed up. We've had a small consolidation, and our last known low level was down 404. Into the open, we had a low of 405, and immediately it started moving. In fact, you know what? I said I wasn't going to show any archive, but I'm going to do it for the culture. Big Steve is going to get mad at me here for this too. You know what? Okay, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to leave it for the students. But I was going to show the trade of me buying here. Let's double check the monitor screen actually. Did I get in? I think I got in early. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I thought I got in early. I did not get in up until 22. So I'm late. I was late to the show here. It dips down. So I didn't get the trade. I thought I got this trade very early. And so, sometimes what happens too in the open is that there's a spread between where the buyers and sellers are. And then, the stock is moving very quickly, right? We had 1.5 million shares of volume in just this 1 minute. So the stock, by the time I'm reacting, the stock is already moving. But anyhow, that's the first trade that was there in terms of setups that I look for. And it did go from 05 all the way to 60 and then a high of 87. The next known entry, right? So we had highs at 60. The next known entry is going to come down right back into the level around 44. We're going to overshoot the landing zone by a little bit. We're going to get 34. And so this is essentially us pulling back into a support, which was the previous high in pre-market, and then pushing higher. And notice how on this candle here, it comes right back into the same level. So we can consider this entire area a support zone, right? Sometimes it's not going to be just one level. It's not just going to be one level, but we can be plus or minus a couple cents. So we pulled back into the level, we ripped up. We pulled back into the level, we ripped up. And then again right here, we pulled back into the level, we pulled back into the level, coming down, we ripped up. We pulled back into the level, we ripped up. And then until it finally this time came down. And it gave us so many different opportunities. And we can extend this gray bubble to kind of depict the support zone here a little bit better. But it gave us, quite a few opportunities to be able to be in this area, right? And selling higher. And that's essentially how I was able to make the first $2,000 or 1,500. And then we started to get this red to green. I thought we might have been finished, but we have been seeing a very strong red to green recently, and this thing curled up. We got over 440, then 450, and then all the way to 499. Beautiful move. And this right here is another one of our setups called the bull flag. So if I'm paying attention, which I wasn't, right? I was switching away to different stocks. We had a red to green, bit of a V-shaped red to green. This is another pattern we look for. But if I'm looking away at something else, there's a chance that I missed this entry, right? So there's a couple of different signs we can look for. First is like huge bottoming wicks, which we did not get one right here, but we did have a bullish engulfing candle. This green candle is going to engulf the red candle, and from there we then had higher lows, which is a sign that, hey, we can continue. So higher lows pressed up against VWAP, which at the time acted as resistance. that created a small flag right here. We did have a false breakout. This is where it gets a little tricky because you can buy for this to go higher right here early at the white line, but it comes right back down quickly. And of course, this is where we have a tight stop. If you're willing to try again, you can be in, and this time we go from 34 up to a high of 50, which in itself is already good enough to take profits. From 50, it drops back. This is another entry that we look for, which is called the baby pullback. From 50 to 42. And again, it's like right back. If we're to bring the same support zone all the way over, and again, VWAP here in itself, can the resistance now become support? So we had trouble. Can this area now hold? It does. And so this is a baby pullback. This is when we get a pullback without there being a red candle. And then this thing surges all the way to 99. Surges to 99. Then gives a bull flag. We have higher lows. High of day was at 90. We pulled back here to a low of 64. And then we started having higher lows, 68, 75. And then the 1 minute candle makes a new high here over 87. And then absolutely takes off all the way up to 560. It dips. It gets a little tricky. We get higher lows again. The 1 minute candle makes a new high right here. And it's like almost like the same pattern here repeating. And then we started to see pullback. So right here we had our first breakdown. We had a low of 80. And then at that point, 80 became like the new support. We had 83. Then a rip all the way to 49. And then 72. And a rip right back up to 518. And then again, and again. And then it finally breaks down here. Surges right back up. And I thought we were going to hold up this level flag and then get another move going up right here again. Didn't happen. So this was a little tricky. I did lose a little bit here. And I can't recall if I captured this. Let me see. Show trades. I don't think I captured this move in there. No, I didn't. No, I did not. I did. And actually, okay, so I tried buying this dip. I'm in at 50. The low is 40. So I took a loss, couple cents. And again, sometimes when we get these bigger drops, I'm thinking, hey, we might be done. But we've been seeing so many good red to greens, man. I mean, it's the same kind of setup again, which is just in the inverse. It's a bear flag, but same thing. Can the 1 minute candle make the new high? Because imagine if we came from down here and there's a big green candle coming up, right? And then there's like a big flag consolidation higher. But instead we're coming down, but once we make the new high, it's hard to know when we'll get this, because sometimes we'll get a fake out and then it comes down to more like that. But if you're really paying attention, you're staying locked in, you can capture that kind of trade. For me, I sometimes look away and then so I think I watched throughout some of this area here. I gave back a little bit. I ended the live stream at 4,500. I gave back in this area, dropped to 4K, and I was standing here having lunch. I had my E-Trade charting open, looking at some stuff like large cap stocks, and I saw this thing at 520 down here on my level 2, but it did not register in my head. And I'm eating some fried rice, some barbecued chicken, some mac and cheese. I'm having a good lunch. My hand is all sticky and stuff with the sauce. It doesn't register in my head that this thing is back up, and I look away, I look back, I saw $6, and I'm like, oh man, 520 was a big area that I wanted to see. But it's one of those things where it's a little frustrating, but you get it at the same time. I'm eating, I have other stuff on the screen, but it's like, if I only could have been locked in, it's like this could be an additional 2K 3K on the day. And I'm starting to realize, like, similar to large caps and having a portfolio, there are certain days throughout the year that you do not want to miss. Like key days that we might be up 1.5%, 2%, or big data releases, earnings. Like for example, if you're not in a stock and they have a 20-30% earnings, that alone might have been the year on that stock, and you missed the earnings of 30%. Well, good luck. So while there's a lot of opportunities for how we trade, we still don't want to miss a candle. I mean, this thing went from 516 to 618. We don't want to miss a candle like this. So I come in here, I make 300, I lose it back. It's a little frustrating. And then someone is like, go live. I'm like, okay, I go wash my hands. I come back. I'm like, all right, time to play this thing for real. Time to trade this thing for real. And in this area here, we read it well. We dominated the entries here around 6, the dip to 570. I bottom tick this candle. Let me show you guys this. I bottom tick this candle, but I only had 1500 size. So the low is 70. I bottom tick this candle in right here at 70, 1500. I'm going to sell that position at 605 area. I'm going to get back aggressively at 610. I'm going to sell that at 640. We did have some losing trades afterwards. What time was this? 14:57, 2:57 p.m. 2:57 right in here. Okay, right here, right here. So I'm in at 70. I should have took this with big size too because I did like the dip. But on the breakout, so we're out at 90, out at 04 the rest. In at 10, out at 40. But we got a little chopped here. And so we made 2K in this area. But then we gave back a little bit. So, it happens when you get aggressive. In at 24 for the dip. I'm out at 20, tight stop, good. In at 23, out at 34, good. I get aggressive at 40. I'm out for a loss at 32. I get in at 41. I'm out scratch. It dips here to 18. I get a good dip. But it just wasn't smooth. I lost somewhere in here. I lost with big size. But it just, here in at 77, out at 65. After it got back over, right here, when it got back to 30, it started to skip. Like without volume. It just skipped up. It skipped up, and it's how I ended up buying so high. It comes down. I get chopped in this area here. And at 50, and I got a good trade, okay, and at 55 out at 80, but then sizing up to 70 to get back in at 80, 77, thinking we'd rip to 7. I'm out at 65. Big loss, big size. But yeah, guys, that was the day. Those are the patterns that I traded in terms of managing the risk. For me, it's always tight stops, aiming for break-even stops, breakout or bailout on the dips and on the rips. If we panic flush, can we dip? Can we bounce immediately? If we're breaking out, can we break out immediately? If not, tight risk always. The only way I'm really holding longer is if I'm on a 5-minute pullback and I feel comfortable about the support. Or maybe sometimes a 1-minute pullback as well where I'm comfortable with the support and I'm just looking to hold for a really long time to give it a chance, holding with a stop in place. Other than that, we're in and we're trying to be out quickly, and in that way, we're not exposing ourselves to a lot of risk. So that was stock INBS. That was how we were able to make 5 grand. And yeah, so hit that thumbs up, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Remember to check out the links down below if you're interested in the scanner, if you're interested in the course. Guys, there's no better time right now to become a member. Coupon code DREAM is active right now for 50% off, and that's how you give yourself a good chance at becoming successful, right? Do we guarantee, profitability? Do we guarantee success? No, but this is how you give yourself a good chance, right? Because ultimately everything that we know, we've put down into the course, we've put down into the chapters. It comes down to buying into the process. It comes to buying into the style of quick active trades, cutting the stops, cutting the trades tightly, looking for those key areas to get in and out, and we're trading hundreds of times a day. But if you're not into that, if you're into more slow, there's different styles out there, and of course you can explore whatever you like. But yeah, hit that thumbs up, guys. I hope you guys do appreciate the growth here and just the consistency, from our $200 days, our $50 days, going way back. to now, you know, being able to make 5 grand in a day. And right now, right now, like back then, I could see that there's ways to improve. And so I think ultimately we can get to a place where we can see $15,000 days regularly. I think that's around the corner. So we got to keep working. We got to keep studying when nobody's watching. We got to keep improving. We got to try to be consistent with being our best self. For me, some like a day like today, I traded great. Yesterday had similar potential. I traded awfully. Like we have to be consistently doing our best, and we'll stand a great chance. So, with that being said, hit that thumbs up. It's been Relentless Trader, and I am signing out.